Yeah, hey guys, sorry about the delay on this video. As I put in the description, life kind of exploded a little bit and other things came up that I had to take care of, so this has had to go on hold, but we are back on it. So this is a welcome to Vanlife, where to start kind of guide video. It's going to be broken down into several videos because there's quite a lot of information to cover. So I've been on the Vanlife sites for like the last 6 years, and the same questions come up over and over and over again, and so this video basically is going to take all of the answers that I've seen coming up for those questions. I mean, there's going to be some that I miss, and if I do miss some answers and you have other information, please put it in the comments and help some people out. But generally speaking, it's just going to be the responses that I've seen over the last 6 years to the most common questions for van life. So, like, you know, what jobs do we do? What vans do we buy? Do we buy self-builds, factories, or just an empty van? Postal addresses, TV license, council tags, how much does it cost? You know, just general things like that. So obviously, because there's a lot of information, it'll probably be spread over about 3 videos. So in this one, we're going to hit the basic cost of van life and the jobs that we do to pay for our van life. And I probably will hit the postal addresses in this one as well if we've got time. So, okay, so cost. How much does it cost to live in van life? Now, I'm going to give you my bare minimal breakdown. Obviously, I have a full-time job that I have to travel to every day. Well, obviously 5 days a week. If you don't have that, obviously it's not going to be an issue, but I do 34 miles a day to get to work, and then I've got my mileage that I do at the weekends to get water, do washing, take away rubbish, all that sort of thing. So yeah, I drive 17 miles to work because I found this park up and it's right next to a country park, and obviously I have 2 dogs, so for me I could find somewhere closer, but it wouldn't have the dog walking that this place has, so I've opted to drive further and have better dog walking facilities for the puppies. So my fuel cost is about £340 a month. So obviously, as I say, if I parked closer to work, if you're in a position where you can just bounce from one lay-by to the next, you know, a couple of miles apart, your fuel bill is going to be significantly less than mine. Also, bear in mind that in the winter, if you're running your night heater, that's going to put your fuel bill up even more. Obviously, they don't use a massive amount, but they do use some. And when you look at the MPG that your van does, supposedly, bear in mind that when it's loaded, it's not going to achieve anywhere near that. I mean, my van, it's a Ford Transit, it should be doing 28 miles per gallon average. I'm lucky if I get 18 out of it. It's a heavy van, so bear that in mind. Your pennies won't go as far as what you think they should when you look at it on paper. My tax for my van has gone up now. It's £23 a month. I mean, it's not too bad, but it's more than it was. It used to be £20 a month. My insurance is £375 a year, so it's about £31.25 a month for that. That's with advanced insurance that I'm through. Obviously, your unique situation where your van's registered to your age, your driving, it's all going to affect it. There's no one good insurer. Go compare motorhome, type in your details. If you've got a van that's not converted, factory built, you know, click van derived on your motorhome selection, and then click modified, put in all your fittings, and then click your full-time option, see what comes up. And then you can try ring around the individual companies that come up and try and get it a bit cheaper if you want. It's, you know, up to you. But yeah, go on the Go Compare websites and get a list of the companies that are willing to insure you for what your van is registered as or used as, and go from there. Mot and repairs, depending on the age of your vehicle. Mine's a 2010 Transit van. It's got 195,000 miles on the clock, so I at the moment put £50 a month away for MOT and repairs because it has a full service every year, and things are wearing out. Something, generally a bush or a boot or something, will need replacing when it comes to its MOT. It needs welding this year, so this year is going to be quite expensive. Also, bear in mind, when you buy a van used, the previous owner knew they were going to sell that van. So, like, I'll use mine again for example. It was fleet owned, one owner from new, full Ford service history, MOT history was brilliantly clean. I bought it, put it for its MOT, the failure list was like that long. It was huge because they just hadn't repaired anything for like the last 2 years. You know, that they got it through the last MOT, got the advisories, they didn't fix those advisories, and then whatever happened the following year as well was added onto that. So when I bought it, the failure list was massive. So for the first couple of years after you've bought a used van, bear in mind you probably will need to budget a little bit more just to get back on top of the maintenance that the previous owner may have lapsed on, with them knowing that they were going to sell the van. But yeah, £50 a month for me that I put away for that. Gas. I've got a 15 kilo Cala gas bottle. My advice at the moment for people is, if you can go for a bigger bottle, that will be your best bet, because the bigger bottles are easier to source. The marinas, that's, you know, 15-19 kilos are what the narrow boats tend to use, and they tend to keep a really good stock, because obviously they've got boats there permanently, and they've also got the fuel boats that go up and down the canals. So if you can accommodate for a 15-19 kilo, that is probably your best bet. Mine lasts me about 4 months, and the last time I replaced it, it was about 40 quid. It does need replacing again probably in the next month, so I'll probably find it's closer to 50, maybe lower 50s now, but I've put it down as £10 a month for gas. That's probably a little bit under now, but we shall find out when I have to replace it. For food, try and go tinned food, pastas, one pot stews that you can, you know, stick in your fridge and do you a couple of days. Stir fries are popular within van life, you know, but I spend about £200 a month on food. What's the last one? Internet. I have my, up here, little MiFi unit. That's a Huawei, if that's how it's said, and that has got a 3 unlimited data SIM in it, and that is £16 a month for that. And then I've got my EE on my mobile phone, which is £20 a month, so 36 quid a month ish for internet and phone, you know, combined. So my average monthly, just for the bare bones cost for van life, is about £688 a month. About 50% of that is fuel. So if you can not travel quite so much, you can significantly cut your costs. Obviously, as I say, I've not included the fact that I do have a motorbike, I do have 2 dogs, and I've not included going away anywhere on any trips. But again, if you're doing less mileage in terms of day-to-day living, then, you know, your fuel bill will still come under mine, even if you're going away at the weekends. So, but yeah, that is the basic cost for van life. Okay, so we've got the basic cost of van life. So how do we make the money to pay for that cost of van life? Well, if you're coming into van life because your financial situation is not that great, you've got debt or whatever, I would suggest, if you already have a normal 9-to-5 job, that you keep that 9-to-5 job until you've cleared off your debt. It will be so much easier. Remember, whatever job you have now, if you want more freedom time wise, you can do it on agency. You know, there's lots and lots of options, and you can travel around the country. You can pick what days you do and don't work, what have you. I'm a lorry driver, so again, doing it on agency is particularly popular. But again, I came into van life in part because of my financial situation, and so I still have a normal full-time job at the moment, which I will be having for at least another year, but we will see what happens with that. The other options we've got, I've got lists written off to my left because there's quite a few jobs. The mobile guys, the guys that travel around the country doing their thing, the most popular ones that come up are the mobile mechanics, mobile welders, mobile locticians, hairdresser people, mobile dog walkers, mobile house sitters. They're the most common ones that people suggest. For seasonal jobs, back in the day when van life was cheaper, people used to just be able to pick up one of these for 3 or 4 months of the year and make enough money to be able to live for the rest of the year. Obviously now they're having to pick up 2 of them probably throughout the year to be able to make enough money, so the time that they're having to work has probably gone up to about an average of 6 months a year and then 6 months off, which is still a pretty good bargain, to be honest. But the seasonal work, you've got the fruit pickers, you've got the guys that go around to stables pulling ragwort, you've got the Christmas warehouse and retail rush, obviously. Campsites, having managers and campsite wardens and obviously shop staff and stuff. And then obviously you've got your festivals that happen throughout the summer season, so they're good options. Then you've got the digital guys. Now I've split these guys into 2 different lots. you've got the first guys, which are usually still sort of contracted to other people rather than being completely freelance nomads. And they're like your computer programmers, your data entry people, your video editors, and your English tutors. I'm just going to pick on the English tutors on that one because it's quite a popular option. Now, when I did it, you could just do a TEFL certificate, which you could pick up for between £20 to £100, depending on who you did it through. And that would be enough for you to teach not just adult learning, but you could also teach some of the children's courses with that. In China in particular, they were quite flexible with that. However, they have now tightened up their rules, so now 95% of them will require you to have a degree alongside your TEFL certificate. You can still teach on like Cambly and Palfish as a free talk, so you're talking to teenagers and adults on the phone. It's not as lucrative, but it is completely flexible. You just pick what time you want to work, put yourself as online, and people will call you if they want to call you. That's pretty much how that one works. So other than that, you've got your complete digital nomads, which again, I've put the English tutor as the free talk in that section as well, because that is completely flexible around you. You're not fixed to any particular hours. Then you've got your content creators, that's your YouTubers, your Instagrammers, your TikTok people. For anybody looking to go into that, bear in mind it does take a long time to build up to be able to get monetized and be able to make any sort of money out of that. And they tend to have multiple revenue streams rather than just relying on one. So for anyone looking into going into that, start it as a side gig and build it up over time. Then you've got your artists. So we've got quite a few painters, we've got some textile makers, we've got tattoo artists and that in the groups. And again, they're completely mobile, just going around doing what they want, when they want, as and when they need to. And then the other one that's quite popular are the jewellery makers, and they tend to sell on Etsy or at festivals and things like that. So there's quite a few options for the jobs. So that's the first two categories in this series of videos done. That's all we've got time for in this one. But hit that subscribe button and we will come back with you for the next one. It's going to be the different vans, you know, the most popular makes and models on the market, the things to look out for when buying them and things like that. So we will be back in a few days for that, but in between times, as I say, hit that subscribe button and we will see you next time.